Hello everyone, welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here with session number 3 of our D&D 5th edition campaign called Evermore le Masquerade. Tonight's session is going to be titled A Twist of the Knife. This is a game that's going to take place in a homebrewed setting of mine called Rostfien. There's a number of other campaigns that have taken place in the same world, but different areas, different kingdoms. This one is taking place in the kingdom known as Gerdes, which is heavily based on the Baroque periods of Spain and France and Venice, with a little bit of Orlais from the Dragon Age franchise kind of sprinkled in. And it's been a lot of fun so far. And I think things may just be starting to heat up. So I'm very excited to get to the session this evening. A couple of points of business before we get started. First and foremost, if foul language and mature subject matter are things that bother you, then I don't know how in the hell you found yourself here. But as much love as I might have for you, this is not the place for you. Turn around. You've gone too far. But if those kinds of things don't bother you, then welcome, kindred spirit. But especially this campaign. There is going to be sexual subject matter that is at least discussed throughout this campaign, so you have been warned. But I think that's about everything that I need to do before we get started, but I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, plug anything that they would like to plug, tell you where you can find them on the internet, etc., and then we can get started. So we're going to start with Kenya.
Hi, everyone. Kenya, Acer Sim. Excited to be here. I'm excited to see what happens. The Masquerade has been fun so far. You can find me here and then over on MTD for Ghost Assault March every other Tuesday. We just had it yesterday, so 2 weeks from now. And then random various other places, usually in chats, hyping everybody up, and then on my channel on Sundays for the game I run. So that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Very excited to have you back on the channel, as always, Kenya. So, yeah, anybody who mentions a channel, you should be able to find the link for it in the description of the video down below. Please do take the time to go check out what they are recommending, what you find down there. Like it, love it, subscribe, send them comments, etc., etc. All of these players are genuinely fantastic people and very creative, all in their own right. So do go check them out if you have the chance. Next, we have Matt.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I run a YouTube channel called A Fistful of Dice, and I make RPG books over at Absolute Tabletop. You can also find me on Twitter at MattClick, and I do a lot of shit posting over there. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, you should definitely give me a follow. I'm playing Lox LaCroix, who is a suave half-orc duelist fueled by vengeance, also a bisexual disaster who has eaten way too many deviled eggs at this funeral, and so we're going to see how things go tonight. Yeah, thanks for tuning in and watching.
Absolutely. And I kind of feel like shitposting is pretty much just what Twitter has on it, period, honestly.
It's sort of par for the course. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's why I spend so much time there.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure as always, Matt, to have you back. Lox is in an interesting position, so I'm going to see. I'm very interested to see how that's going to turn out. So, excellent. Next we have Em.
Hi everyone, I'm Em, and I do Dice on Ice on the YouTubes and Twitch, and we're going through Curse of Strahd, which is great. And I think as of January, that will be 3 years that we started that campaign. So very long time, very exciting, but yeah. And so tonight I will be playing Sylvie Levine, and I love this game, so I'm so excited to get back into it. I can't wait for all the murdering that will be happening one way or another. We'll see how it goes. So thanks.
Murder poo? Absolutely. I'm sure nothing bad will happen whatsoever. My games are usually pretty boring, slow, honestly. Next, we have. I'm not going to do that segue. God, that would have been horrible.
I saw it coming, but
Speaking of boring and slow, no, that's horrifying. That is absolutely not true. Austin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Austin. I'm going to be playing Guillaume.
You're not doing the French accent?
Yes, try it again. The intro will always be in the French accent, and it will have lots of gesticulations. But I am Austin. I will be playing Guillaume. He does not sound like this. I do not understand why I sound like this. Je ne sais pas. But he is the rich dandy of the group, the wizard, or one of the wizards, actually. I shouldn't say the. Apologies, Em. But he's not a fashion wizard, unfortunately. So he relies almost entirely on Sylvie for that. But I'm excited to get into this. I have nothing to plug. As always, everything I create is just in my head. And I only follow people on social media. And so it's not really worth following me.
It is worth it, I promise. I'm stealing the term fashion wizard from now on. That's who Elton John is in my head. Elton the White. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see. There may or may not be some things headed down the pipe for Guillaume as well. I've said too much. Next, last but certainly not least, Karen.
How do I follow that? I am following Austin. I always follow Austin. You should follow Austin. Everyone should follow Austin. I'm Karen. I'm Myth and Gears. I'm not really very active right now because I needed a break. But if you want to check out my stuff, I got a YouTube channel called Myth and Gears. So that's where stuff is. Tonight, I get to play Cameron Diego Ruiz y Gonzala. And he is a bisexual masterpiece. If Lux is going to be a bisexual disaster, because, I got to one-up him. I cannot wait to get into this game and see what lovely things our devious GM has in store for us.
Devious. I resemble that remark. Okay. Unless anybody has any other business or questions, I think we can get started. Excellent. Let's play some D&D. Let's go. Even in Gerdes, there are those who want nothing of the drama that unfolds upon the stage of the wealthy and the powerful. People who are content with living out their lives in quiet exclusion from the grand designs of the movers and the shakers of the kingdom in which they dwell. But regardless of how beautiful and bountiful the garden may be, if you fly there long enough, there is always the chance that you will be caught in the web of the spiders that also call this place home. We go back in the evening to the beginning of the funeral gala of Turin Agniasa, the consigliere who was assassinated in Sylvie's shop. People arrive in droves. We see the splendid costumes and masks as the elite of Al Hidalgo turn out for this extravaganza. This time, however, we follow one particular guest, dressed mainly in black, shimmering silks and velvets trimmed with gold. Deep blue feathers decorate the crown of their head, as well as the bottoms of the bells of their sleeves. Long satin black gloves cover every inch of skin. The mask that they wear is a cold white porcelain with golden tears that seem to run down the cheeks. And they carry with them a staff that is topped with a cobra. The two eyes of the snake glimmering in a similar blue fashion to the feathers that decorate this person's attire. Through the evening, as the funeral gala winds onward, we see glimpses of this individual in the background as we retrace the steps of the heroes throughout this evening. At one point, Lox is eating another Alidalgan egg, and we see this individual pass by in the background. We see Chimeran glaring across the room at Sylvie. This person just out of focus over Sylvie's shoulder. We see this individual approach the plinth that holds the body of the consigliere. And this individual reaches down upon their neck and touches a piece of jewelry that hangs there. It is an exquisite black, intricately carved piece of metal that seems to almost glow from within. They reach up with their gloved hand and pull a small black pearl from the mouth of this strange face on this device. And with a flick of the wrist, they toss the pearl into the air, and it shatters. In the instant that it shatters, everything goes black. You all witness the sudden darkness as every light in the cathedral is extinguished. But it is Lox who is plunged into the full strangeness of this event. For you, Lox, the inky black is accompanied by the sound of being deep underwater. And there is a cold and crushing pressure that surrounds you. What would you like to do?
I think just at first starting to panic, feeling panic and nausea sort of rise with this sort of claustrophobic darkness around me. Based on where I was when this happened, am I able to like mentally triangulate where in the room someone friendly to me would be? One of my compatriots.
Roll a perception.
Oh boy. Zero. I rolled 1. I have -1 perception.
Ooh. Okay, then I would say that's a pretty clearly
The eggs
defined...
were too good. I wasn't paying attention. So then I will Okay. So message doesn't require that I see the person, but I have to point a finger toward them. So I don't think I can use message. I'm just going to pick a direction and walk as far as I can, basically trying to remove myself from at least the epicenter of this magic.
Okay. As you do so, you feel your steps, they're slow, as if trudging through water. You know, each step is labored, but you're able to move. And this crushing just pressure that is on every square inch of your body is starting to cause your ears to kind of ring, and you feel that kind of the pressure kind of building behind your eyes and at your temples. And just about the time that you think you can't bear it anymore, you kind of step through an unperceived barrier, and all of a sudden the noise of the room rushes back to your ears, and the pressure is immediately released, as well as the coldness that you were feeling. It is still dark, however.
Yeah, as that pressure was kind of pushing in on me, I think that I would remember as a kid being shoved into the fountain in the town square and shoved under the water by older kids who were also living in the alleyways. And as I come out of that and step through that sort of barrier, I'm remembering grabbing the sides of the fountain and pushing myself up to free myself from the depths of the fountain. Rubbing at my ears, I will kind of glance around, and seeing that it's still just total and complete darkness, I will just call out, Guillaume, Vera, Sylvie, Cameron, anyone?
For the rest of you, it went dark, but you didn't feel or experience any of the other sensations that I just described Locke's going through. It is dark. If any of you happen to have dark vision, you can actually still see. It's just as if all of the lights in the room were extinguished in a moment. Does anybody have dark vision? Yeah? Chimeran? Okay. Chimeran, you see that though the room is dark, there's actually like a sphere of darkness near the foot of the plinth that holds the corpse, and your vision, your eyes aren't able to penetrate that sphere. That is like a purely black, like, ball of shadow.
And
Lots,
sorry, Jeremy, I
whenever-
also have dark vision. I forgot
Right.
that half orcs get.
Yeah. So when you feel the release of the pressure and the coldness, you can see, but only as, you know, dark vision kicks in.
Would Locke still have yelled out if he could see?
I think that I probably still would have called out because I'm trying to find familiar faces in the crowd. But I would also be just scanning around, seeing if I see any of you.
Yeah, Guillaume would just stick a hand up. Here. And just try to signal to him. Not really try to move because I don't have dark vision, and I'm assuming I would know that you do.
Yes, I would move toward Guillaume, trying if I can perceive this globe of fuck shit in the middle of the room. I will try and give it a wide berth. I don't want to step into it again.
Yeah, you can absolutely peg it. Everything else, you know, is kind of those, you know, shades of gray and almost like it's dimly lit for you. But that is just this fairly perfect sphere of pure darkness, and it's easy to go around.
Yeah, as soon as it goes dark and I see like that sphere, we hear Locks yelling out. I am looking for Sylvie in particular, but the others as well, but mainly Sylvie, and I'm going to try to get to her side.
Okay. Lox is very capable of finding Guillaume and making his way to him. And Chimeran, likewise, you were very capable of finding Sylvie with little issue and make your way over to her. Vera, you're kind of, for the moment at least, on your own, it seems.
No, as soon as everything goes dark, Vera just she stops for a second. She's like, "This just won't do," and I'm going to use prestidigitation to attempt to if there was a candle nearby her when the lights went out, I want to relight the candle, if at all possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's like a small little candelabra that's got, like 3 or 4 candle stems on it. So you can describe, Vera.
Yeah. So
bringing that
she
back.
she goes ahead and this just won't do. And she remembers that just sitting next to her on the table, and she reaches out and feels around. And once she feels the base of it, she just, yep, this is what I need. And as she goes to lift it up, and as she's lifting it up, the candles on it just light up, and she holds it up in the air, and she's like, "I'm over here. I'm here. I have light."
Several people in the gala have began to scream the moment that everything went dark, and you can see, those of you who have dark vision, people trying to find themselves to a nearby wall, or grabbing onto whoever just happens to be standing near them, as panic starts to kind of ripple through the crowd that's the crowd of partygoers. Nearby, anybody who has eyes on that sphere of shadow can see 1 or 2 individuals actually kind of like stumble or fall out of the side of the sphere, similar to Lox, but they don't look as good as Lox did. They look like they might be near death.
I think Vera's going to kind of locate probably Locks, since he was actually yelling and would have drawn her attention. She's going to walk over to Guillaume and Locks, and as she's walking over, she gets this annoyed look on her face as these people are running around and screaming. She's like, "Oh, just calm down. It's just the dark." And she squares her shoulders off and holds this candelabra up, and she gets over to him. "Well, are you okay? What happened to you?"
I imagine my face is kind of still sweaty, and I'm not looking super great from having walked out of the globe. And I'll respond to you yelling at the people and say, "It's not just the dark, Vera. There's some sort of magic here. I don't quite understand what's going on, but I was in the middle of that when it went off, and it did not feel good."
"Are you hurt?"
No, I think I'm okay. A little queasy, but
well, that was probably the eggs.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up as to whether it's the magic or the eggs, or a little from column A, a little from column B, but I think I'm okay.
She looks up at Guillaume. "And you? You're fine?"
Oh, yes, of course. And he looks at her candelabra, and he glances to the nearest table and just grabs the candlestick. And there's just one candle in this one, but he just kind of, with a bit of side eye, just poofs it into light. Right. So we should probably get people out of here if that thing's dangerous. I don't know. Or we get ourselves out. And he kind of looks towards an exit for a second and gives you guys a little bit of eyebrow.
Hang on. I think people are managing just fine. I think this is exactly the sort of thing we need to stick around and see what's up.
He'll give a
So-
glance over to the people that stumbled out of the ball. He said, this seems like one of those dangerous situations, like the ones that get you led into a bathhouse and stabbed.
I very much intend to not be stabbed again, Guillaume, and I appreciate you not bringing that up again. It's a dangerous situation, but, well, now we know it is, right?
All of you, if you would, please roll perception checks. Those of you who have dark vision, you can have advantage. Nine, 16. Oof. Okay. Lox, Chimeran, and Sylvie. The three of you happen to notice that during the kerfuffle that's following, everybody kind of like scrambling for lights to kind of re-illuminate the room, or trying to find a place to be safe out of the way. There is an individual that is rather quickly making their way straight towards the exit.
Oh, I'm going to follow. I'll just kind of indicate to Sylvie that I see this person and that I am going to follow, and I will start heading out. I will try to do it as stealthily as possible. I'm not going to assume that the person that's leaving cannot also see, so I'm going to make sure that I am hiding as best as I can as I'm doing it.
Okay. There's a lot of doorways and buttresses and columns and things like that you can pretty easily kind of stay hidden, especially since you don't need a light source. It's not like you stand out super well in the dark. Is anybody else following after Chimeran, or Chimeran, are you saying anything before you depart?
I'm just indicating to Sylvie that I'm leaving. Yeah.
Is this figure someone that we recognize, or is it the one from before with the feathers and the necklace?
It is the one from before, yes.
So not someone we know, but definitely like a striking sort of sort of figure.
Absolutely.
I think if I notice Chimeran going after this figure, I look to Vera and Guillaume and say, I think Chimeran's got the scent of something. Come on, let's go over here. We should stick together.
No arguments on that one.
I think Sylvie would follow as well, just kind of putting, I imagine that she was with Sophia at this point, just kind of holding, and then she just kind of grabs Sophia by the arm. It's probably best that you stay here. I will be right back. And she is going to kind of set Sophia by some others so that she's not alone, who might have like a candlestick or something, and then it's going to follow Chimeran.
Yeah, Vera will definitely go with.
Okay, so most of the party goers are, like I said, kind of clamoring around for light sources, or people that they may have come with, and it's pretty easy to kind of pick out this particular person's path once your attention's been drawn. They don't seem as caught off guard by all of this. They seem to have purpose. There's no aimlessness in their actions. They're moving very purposefully, and it's pretty easy for you guys to kind of fall in line, more or less, to give chase, as it were. As this person leaves the main I don't know what it would be called, the main part of the cathedral where the party was actually being held, kind of closer towards the entrance. You find yourselves in a room that you already passed through earlier in the evening, but now with the light of the moon, you can see the multicolored kind of spattering of light that the stained glass kind of throws across the floor from two different directions, as Rossing has two moons, and both seem to kind of shine in at different angles and throw these patterns of light across one another. Ahead of you, there is the large cathedral door that has, a small portion at the bottom that can be opened, and it is this portion of the door that this figure, clad in black and gold, is approaching up these stairs. And they turn at the last moment, spotting the light source that a few of you are carrying, and you see them make a gesture with their hands and throw their arms wide apart, and you hear this noise, and the light on the floor and the walls begins to dance and move instead of remain in its static pattern. And around the bend, as it were, two figures that look like knights, made entirely of stained glass, square their shoulders towards you and begin moving forward. If you would please go ahead and roll for initiative. Okay. So they rolled super well. Okay, let's see. So this is an enemy that I have wanted to run as a dungeon master for like 20 years and have never really had the chance to do so. So I'm super excited for this. 13, Vera. What am I missing here? Okay. And then Locke's got a 7. Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sylvie, you are the first to respond to what you're seeing. What'd you like to do?
Has this figure escaped through the door?
Let me roll for them, and we'll find out where they go in the initiative. No, they have not yet.
But the door is open for them, right? Like, sorry, I'm just trying to.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have opened the door and were kind of starting to go to pass through it, and they turned around and saw that you were following, and they did this
Okay.
gesture. So they're kind of in the open doorway at the moment.
Okay. I think Sylvie. Sylvie's going to pull back her sleeve to reveal this kind of almost like an armband that's made of this leather, and she always has this on her. And as she does so, you see that there's this gem embedded in this cufflet almost, and you can see that there's one stitch missing from the ruby. And very oddly, Sylvie procures a needle and thread from this pouch that she was carrying to fix other people's dresses, and she finishes the last stitch of this gem onto this cufflink, and you can see that this gem emits this very soft blue glow, and she has activated her infiltrator armor as part of being an artificer. So she has to use an action for that.
Excellent. Okay.
Otherwise, she's going to move to the side to kind
mhm.
of make room for the others that are kind of coming into this area.
Okay, excellent. And I think, let's say the room is, I think the door is going to be 50 feet from where you currently stand, and these figures are 30 from where you are. Okay, so with Sylvie having activated her device, that brings us to Vera.
How far away from the odd figure am I
30 feet.
again? 30 feet from, okay, not from the statue guys, but from the person with the staff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, from the person with the staff, 50.
Okay. 30 feet to them. Okay. Man. I'm gonna step over back by kind of to the side where Sylvie went, and Vera is going to man, I don't know what to do. That changed my whole plan. You know what? I'm just gonna step to where I can get within 30 feet of the person with the staff, and I'm gonna go ahead and cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter and see if I can possibly immobilize them. It's a
Excellent.
Wisdom 13 saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw of 13. All right. Yeah, they got a 16 on the die.
Okay,
So they
so
saved.
at the
Do
save,
they still
yep,
have
she
a
saved.
second?
Okay. When they save, no, it's just if they save, they save. That's
Okay.
all. Yep. So she's gonna do that, and then she's going to. So it's 50 feet. So I would have went up 20 and then backed off another 10. So then she's gonna back up 10 again to kind of try to get out away from these odd light creatures that have been summoned.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, you cast your spell at this individual, and you can see them kind of almost recoil for a moment, almost like somebody who would raise their hand in their direction. Almost a brief moment of kind of a jerk, and shakes their head, which causes these kind of blue and black feathers to kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but kind of shake back and forth. And you can kind of look as this individual then levels their eyes straight at you. And even though they wear a mask, you can feel the kind of the daggers, if you will. Okay. After Vera, it is Chimeran.
Oh, so they're still there. This is all right, so I would like to close a bit with this with the figure, not so much the creatures. I know I'll probably have to get closer to them to get to them, but as I'm closing in, I want to get within if I can get within the 20 feet. So I'm going to move 30 feet forward.
Okay, so yeah, you'll have to pass between these two figures to basically get kind of like 10 feet beyond them. Oh, no, wait. 30 feet. Yeah, 30 feet would actually put you at the creatures. and then
Oh,
you would
that's
be then you would be
in
20
between
feet.
them.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I will take that. Within the 20 feet, then I am going to, as I was moving up there, I was pulling out from my hidden place in my belt a dagger that I am going to throw at the figure before it disappears. I'm trying to nail it.
Okay, excellent. I think because they're engaged with you, the stained glass guys, that's going to impose disadvantage on your ranged attack. I think that's the ruling on it.
Well, then that's a total miss. Big. Ping.
I'm gonna double check. Okay. I think that's the rule, but now I'm second guessing myself. Where is that under ranged property? I don't know. It's not where I thought it was, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that yes, that's the case. At least for
So
now.
I miss it with playing, I don't know, off the floor or something. I rolled
Okay.
2 on the disadvantaged one. It's bad. Meanwhile, I would like to yell, Lox, we need you here. Because I wasn't sure if Lox had followed. How far did Lox follow, by the way? Yeah? Okay. So seeing that Lox had followed, I'm going to use my bonus action. Because this is cool. I'm going to use my bonus action to use the help action to aid Lox in attacking one of these creatures.
Okay. So that'll grant Locke's advantage on his attack,
On his attack.
action.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you guys only have one attack now, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it grants
Very
it
cool.
grants advantage on the first attack if you get more than one.
Okay, it is only just the first. Good to know for the future. Okay. So yeah, maybe Chimeran is like trying to distract one of these things.
Absolutely.
You're getting close enough to it that it kind of might perceive you as a threat. You are okay. That won't go into effect just yet. Okay. That was Chimeran. It is now Guillaume's turn.
How close to each other are these two glass things?
So there's 5 feet between them. So they're 10 feet from one another.
Okay, and my companions are there's one on one of them, right? Chimeran is kind
Yeah,
of
Chimeran's
next to
kind of in
one.
between the two of them.
Okay. Shoot. And the other guy's still visible, correct?
Yes. Just kind of getting through the door, but not quite all the way through yet.
Okay, do I have enough room that I could run, like I could get within 30 feet of him and avoid coming within opportunity range of these glass creatures?
I would say so. If you kind of hug the side of the room, you could kind of, move your full movement and get within 30 of the figure that's going out the door.
Okay, perfect. I will do that. And as he's doing it, Guillaume is reaching into this long velvet coat that he has into one of the pockets. When his hand comes out, it's oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no, I forgot. I totally forgot. I had a cane. I made it a cane. He's got his cane with the floating gem inside, and he's going to lift that up the second that he reaches a place where he can see the guy, and he'll cast detect thoughts on the person running. So I believe that's an action. So I only get the initial thoughts on this first turn, and I can probe deeper on different on subsequent turns with the check.
Yeah. Does it require
So
a saving throw?
Not for the initial thoughts. Let me just
Interesting. Okay,
double
cool.
read it. It's for the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast the spell, and as your action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. You initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on its mind in that moment. As an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature or probe deeper. If you probe deeper, it has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so surface level thoughts. I must escape. I must escape. It's imperative. Someone is following. Someone is following, and I must get out of here quickly. These should do the trick.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna keep my eye on that person and be ready to follow them because I want to be able to continue probing.
Okay. Let's see here. That was Guillaume. So Lox, it is your turn.
So Lox is kind of running down this hallway to catch up with Chimeran, and he comes around this corner and sees Chimeran engaged with these stained glass figures, and he will just charge toward the one on the left or whatever one Chimeran is not actively engaged with. And there's this hiss of steel as he draws out this sort of curved saber with little more than a flick of his wrist, just like an extension of his arm as it comes out. And he holds it sort of like this with his other hand sort of at the ready. And he goes, I've never fought a window before, but let's go. And I'll try and attack with advantage, I believe, since Chimeran helped me out with the distraction.
Indeed.
So let me roll with advantage. Roll. That's an 18 on the die for a total of 23.
That will absolutely hit.
Awesome. Let me roll damage. 10 damage. And then
What kind of damage? Is this a rapier?
This is my rapier.
Okay.
Which
Piercing, probably.
Because it's piercing, and then I just want to see if it's my because that's my bonded weapon. I can't remember if that makes it magical or not.
It might. It probably won't matter
it is not
here,
magical.
though. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then let's see. Man, I think I might action surge.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and action surge. And
Before you make
again.
your final choice,
Yeah.
As you stab this thing, your rapier kind of pierces through one of the colored panels of this thing, kind of making that horrifying, metal on glass noise.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
As you kind of plunge your blade into it, and the pieces that shatter off of this thing don't just fall to the ground. They seem to like hover around it, as well as a lot of the glass that must have been attached to it when it broke from the window that hosted it just a moment ago. And getting this close to it, you actually take 4 points of slashing damage from pieces of glass that are zipping around it.
Okay. So there's just these like little razor cuts. And man, I actually, rather than using my action surge, I'm just going to go into, I immediately switch stances and bring the blade sort of down low in front of myself with my hand still out and sort of start circling this thing in a defensive, ready to parry sort of stance. That'll be my turn.
Okay. All right, so Lox has fallen onto his back foot and is beginning to circle one of these creatures. The figure disappears through the door, closing it behind them. And these two creatures, these two beings made of stained glass, one of which has seemed to taken the bait from Lox and is now kind of circling slower than Lox is moving, but with each step that kind of breaking of the glass as it crunches against the stone, and it draws this glass sword in front of it and is going to lash out at Lox twice. What is your AC, Lox?
My AC is 13 because I'm not wearing my armor currently.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay, so that's gonna hit the first one.
If that hits, I'll go ahead and I'll use my reaction to use defensive duelist and add 2 to my AC, making my AC 15 for just that attack.
Okay, yeah, it's still gonna
right?
hit. Yeah, unfortunately. And the second one was a critical. So it hit with both, the second of which was a critical. So the first hit is going to be 7 points of slashing. And you need to mark somewhere on your character sheet or on a piece of scratch paper or something, basically 3 ticks or 3 stars or something to that nature. You're going to have a bleed of that much from these weapons. The second one is going to hit and deal 12 points of slashing. And you're going to have to make another 6 more. Oh my god. Okay. So all of you watch in terror, perhaps, as this thing takes 2 swipes with this sword made of glass, and Lox just crumbles beneath the severe lacerations that this weapon causes. The second stained glass golem turns towards Chimeran and Guillaume to one side, and as it does so, all of you, or the 2 of you, notice this strange, mesmerizing pattern in the light that is reflected through this being's glass body. And I need both of you, please, to make Constitution saving throws.
Jeremy, I'm a wizard. Ooh, but that's a 20.
Oh no. 20's good. 20's good. Okay.
Actually, I didn't dump Constitution, so that's a 22.
Oh.
So I feel okay about that.
Okay. So, Guillaume, you managed to kind of avert your gaze at just the right moment. And you can kind of see on the wall the patterning of this kind of dazzling effect kind of like gathers in like more and more rapid kind of blinking, and then it kind of makes this kind of noise, and there's a bright flash. And just at that moment, unfortunately, Chimeran, you happen to have been caught up in the mesmerizing dancing lights. You are blind. Everything once more goes black for you. You'll get to repeat your saving throw at the end of each of your turns. If you don't manage to pass, then it'll last for a minute. Okay, that was the 2 of them. We're now back to the top of the round with Sylvie.
As soon as Sylvie sees Lox fall down with these wounds, is going to run over to him. She can get to him, right? Yeah.
You should be. Yep.
Okay, perfect. She rushes over to him and is going to like interpose herself between him and this golem and is going to immediately rip off pieces of like the skirt of her dress and is going to wrap it around the wounds that she sees on Locks. And immediately, as soon as it does so, she's wearing this black fabric, but you slowly see this fabric dissolving into Lox's skin until it almost looks like whatever these makeshift bandages were are a part of Lox's skin as she casts Cure Wounds on him. So that's going to be 8 points of healing.
That's badass.
And that is her turn.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, actually take a point of inspiration. And it's a really, really awesome way of describing that spell. Okay, Vera.
Locks would wake up and just go, oh, what the hell? Just blood flecking his lips.
Okay, now that he's back up, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a spot within 10 feet of the two creatures that I can basically cast a spell? I want to cast Shatter, but I want to cast it behind the creature so it doesn't hit my friends. And I just want to make sure that it's clear enough for me to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think so. It's the kind of thing where, like, when you cast it, it's probably going to be like at the toes of Chimeran's boots, kind of thing. But he'll won't be in the effect of the spell, and you'll be able to catch at least part of both of the creatures.
Okay, so Vera takes this skirt that she has on, this kind of real short cut in the front skirt, and one of her legs has the same similar style orange, koi colored orange, white, black, and she lifts it up, and there's a very thick garter belt around her leg, and she kind of reaches behind the garter belt and pulls out a small pan flute that she has been carrying inside of her leg, and she's going to blow into the pan flute, and as she's blowing, she's going to start out with this really solid note, and then she's going to careen it like kind of sideways so it screeches really hard, and she whips her hand at the bottom of it where all the wind's coming out, and flicks it over in the direction behind the statues, and the note is going to hit the ground behind them and then blow up, and they have to make Constitution saving throws of a DC 13.
Okay. They both failed.
Oh, okay. Whew. They are both going to take well, it didn't roll that great, but they are both going to take 9 force damage from this note as it kind of explodes behind them.
Is it force damage or is it thunder damage?
Oh, sorry, it's thunder damage. Sorry, it's thunder.
Okay,
You're right.
that's
thunder. Yeah,
that's what I thought it was. Okay, they are vulnerable to thunder damage. So
sweet.
It dealt 9.
So that
you
actually
said?
was really good. Yeah, 9.
Okay, so
is
18,
what I rolled.
Yeah, 18 to both of them then. Yeah, you notice whenever you cast this spell, whenever the note kind of crashes into the floor, there is a significant sound of their bodies just like, and pieces of them, as I said, though they don't fall to the ground, they become a part of the kind of shrapnel that is spinning around them.
She's going to, as soon as the note hits, and when she sees that happen, she's going to get them out, pull him out, get them out, go, go, go. Come, walk to my voice, come to me, walk backwards.
Okay, that was Vera. Chimera, it is your turn.
Oh yeah, and I'm blind now.
It's true.
This is something I'm not used to being, because I can usually always see even in the dark, and this is kind of probably freaking me out a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I imagine
would
that,
like-
like, instead of it being black, it's probably that kind of thing where, like, if you've ever looked at a light that's just too bright, you get that almost like iris, like rainbow, like color in your that just takes over all of your vision. It's
Right, so I've
probably
got
something
this,
more like that.
Bright
Yes,
kaleidoscope
yeah,
color that I
exactly.
just can't see. Yeah. I was going to use my bonus action to disengage. I'm not sure if I can do that still by being blinded.
I think so.
Then
Try
I
to
would
look
like to do so.
See what blind does.
It says blinded creature can't see
you got
and
it.
automatically fails any ability check that requires sight. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage.
Yeah. So I don't see any reason why you couldn't disengage.
Okay, so I would like to disengage. However, I am not the smartest or sharpest tool in the shed, so we're disengaging
Not standing next to these guys.
forwards. Yeah, they're much sharper than I am. I'm going to go towards where the door was, where I remember the door being. And once I've disengaged, I'm going to try to get to that.
Okay. Now it's saying OBS reconnection successful. Maybe. Hello, hello. Can anybody out there hear us?
I'm
I
watching
am
your
watching it
stream.
right
It's
now.
not moving.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
we're moving
hey,
again.
there. We're back.
Woohoo! I did not think that we were going to be able to pull that out of the fire. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what happened. My internet just completely dropped out of the bottom and I had to reset the modem and everything. Okay, so I think from what everybody was saying in chat, we were right in the middle of Karen's description. So, Karen, if you would, I guess just start your turn over, basically.
Okay, so I'm blindly going where no one has gone before except for the creature that we're chasing. I am going to use my bonus action to disengage, not heed Vera's wise words, and I'm going to go forward to where I remember the door being. My goal is to
Right.
get to it and try to open it and go through.
Right, okay. So there is a staircase between you and the door that you're now going to be trying to navigate blind. So if you would please make me an acrobatics check.
Something that I am relatively good at, but I am blind. Blind says. So is this one that, well, requires sight? I guess not really, because blind people can do it.
No, I
Mind
don't think
making me
so.
roll this. Okay, so here we go. Oh, that's a dirty 20.
Excellent. So as if you've, mounted these stairs multiple times before, maybe even in the dark, you successfully and agilely.
I love
With-
the dark, by the way.
Well then, I've heard. Never mind. So you've walked up these staircases. What the fuck am I saying? You walk up the staircase and manage to fumble your way to the door, though you are without sight.
Is the door locked? I do try to open
It is. It is not. So yeah, you can open the door, and when you open the door, perhaps much to your chagrin, nothing changes visually for you. You just hear the noise of the city outside much clearer now. And at the end of your turn, you can repeat your Constitution saving throw if you'd like.
Yeah, I am not going to, knowing that I can't see at this point, I think it would be really silly to open it wide and not know what's behind there. I just want to basically check to see if I can open it. I will open it a
That's fair.
crack, and then I'm just going to hope that my sight returns before I burst through the door. So that's where I'm going to end my turn, is at the door, having slightly.
Excellent.
And you said
Very
it's
well.
kind of safe, con?
Constitution. Yep.
Oh dear. A little bit better than last time. This is a 6. We'll get there eventually.
Okay,
5
so
and not a
that
6.
yeah, that unfortunately is not high enough. So you will remain blind for the time being. Okay, that was Chimeran. It is now Guillaume's turn.
I would like to continue running towards the door to try to stay in range of the masked figure because I still want to try to probe deeper into their thoughts.
Okay.
As soon as he'll get to the door, he'll want to look both, like try to see if he can tell which way they went.
Yeah, so you kind of get to the door, and you might kind of have to maneuver around Chimeran, who's like kind of fumbled around and found the door blindly and has opened it. And maybe even like Chimera like opens the door to test it, and it's open just enough so that Guillaume can just slide right through the opening, without Chimeran probably even being aware. All right, so you slide out the open door and into the street outside the cathedral. Make me a perception check, if you would, please.
I'm going to use an inspiration on that one.
Okay.
That was not great. Oh, there we go. Replace that with a nat 20, which makes it a 20.
Damn. Okay.
Because I have no bonus to that.
So you spot the mask and headdress and robes. They are flung onto a planter not far across the street, and you spot a person very quickly making their way away from the place where it looks like this costume has been discarded.
Guillaume will hold his staff with the orb, or his cane with the orb at the end, and this sort of almost entirely transparent sort of tendril. Seems like it lashes out and reconnects the connection to this thing's mind, or this person's mind, and he'll force all of his will and his energy through this tendril and try to probe deeper to see what is more deeply on this person's mind than just the immediacy of escape. And that'll be a wisdom saving throw of 13.
Wisdom save of 13. Yeah. Okay. So you try to delve deeper into this person's psyche, and you find almost like a practiced barrier that has been thrown up in your way. This kind of repeated, block them out, block them out, block them out, block them out. Just repeated over and over again, that you seem to have run into a wall.
Well, yeah, I don't think I can do anything else after that. So I'll stand dumbfounded in the door, just staring hard in that direction.
Okay, but you're going to remain here at the cathedral?
I think I would probably be pretty much out of movement. I might be able to move like 10 feet closer.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, okay, actually, you know what? I will move 10 feet closer. I'm gonna do something kind of stupid. We'll see.
Fair. Okay. So Guillaume is like kind of moving down the external staircase that kind of leads up to the outside of the door of the cathedral here. That is Guillaume. That will bring us to Locks.
So confusion sort of clears from Lox's face. He nods to Sylvie and will stand up, wincing slightly. I'm going to down one of my healing potions as my action. Oh, using half my movement to stand up, of course. And then action to down a healing potion, which will give me back 5.
So, house rule, quaffing potions is a bonus action.
Hey, that's awesome. How cool. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I remember that too from the doc. That's very exciting. So he just downs this potion, sort of throws the bottle off to the side, and his rapier sort of clattered to the ground when he fell a few feet away, and he just reaches his hand palm outward, and the blade just sort of snaps into his hand from the floor, almost telepathically. And I'm gonna attack one of these things again. Is that stupid? I'm gonna do that. I will stride forward and just sort of under my breath say, let's try this again. And I'm gonna try to attack the one that just attacked me.
Okay.
It's 15 to hit.
Will hit.
Awesome. It'll be 12 damage. Piercing.
12. Okay. That means... Okay. He's still standing. This is the same one that you damaged just a moment before. And he's still fighting, but there are large sections of him where basically the lead paneling that would hold these glass areas together are kind of empty, almost just these sections of almost pure lead wiring where the glass has been knocked loose, but is still circling this creature. So you're going to take from the slashing of the glass 6 points of slashing damage as it lacerates your arm.
Fine.
Ooh. Okay. All right. That was Locke's. It is now these creatures' turn. Okay. The one that dazzled Chimeran the last round and attempted to do so to Guillaume has followed their progress towards the front door and is now going to begin moving after them. Again, with that kind of like with each of its steps grinding more glass into the stone. It clumsily navigates the steps up behind Chimeran and is going to bring up this sword. Since Guillaume is outside and at least 10 further feet away, both of these attacks are going to be coming for Chimeran.
And they're at advantage because I am blind.
Okay, well, the first one was a critical. So my internet is like, fuck you, and my dice are like, fuck you guys. Oh my god. Okay. So that's going to be max out damage. That's going to be 18 points of slashing damage. And again, you'll need to notate somewhere that you have a 9-point bleed as this thing lays your back open, Chimeran. Good grief. That was the first attack. Okay. What is your AC again?
Yeah, it without the leather, it's 13.
Okay. So this second strike comes up almost just mechanically, just rises up and comes down, and then the second one in almost a repeated fashion. But from the first strike, you stumbled forward into the door from the immense impact that it had, and the second one just isn't able to bypass your the little bit of protection that your clothing affords you, and it misses you by a point. The other, the one that is on locks, is going to turn and it is going to repeat the patterning of light that its partner used just a moment before, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw, please, Lux.
Sylvia is also like right there as well, because she had to touch
then
Lux to
that's right, you
heal him,
were. So then both of you would need that, please. Thank you.
19 on my con save, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
15.
That's still good. Okay. So both of you are able to avert your eyes. Having seen what it did to Chimeran just a moment before, both of you kind of throw an arm up or look away just in the right moment of time when this flash goes off, and both of you manage to retain your sight. Okay. Let's see if either one of them gets that back. Okay. Back to the top of the round. It is Sylvie's turn.
Okay. Sylvie is going to turn to the one that is at the entrance of the cathedral, or this entranceway, and is going to point this cuffling at this thing, and all of a sudden you smell ozone in the air, and you feel the static electricity as out of nowhere a blue lightning bolt strikes down at this creature with a 21 to hit.
Yes, that will hit.
And is going to do 7 points of lightning damage.
Okay, lightning. Okay, lightning is normal, so it takes all of that. And so you watch as the lightning kind of hits one of the highest kind of leaded points of this thing, and watch as the electricity kind of like sparks and arcs through the various lead borders of the panels. And several of the shards kind of fall from it and begin to circle it in a kind of ever-growing rainbow of speckled light.
Then you see Sylvie is going to, to grab this cloth from within her various petticoats and layers of dresses, layers of skirts, and is going to throw it at Chimeran. And I imagine it's almost like the Doctor Strange cape that kind of like has a mind of its own and kind of flies over to Chimeran and wraps him as she's casting Sanctuary on Chimeran.
Excellent. Okay.
So yeah. So any creature who targets Chimeran must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, they have to choose a new target or lose the attack.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Very, very cool. All right, so as Sylvie casts these spells... Oh, wait a second. Damn it. Hold on. Okay, so there's something that they can do that I overlooked. So this spell attack that you roll. Okay, so what was the attack roll that you got again?
21.
21. Okay. So you reach out with this lightning bolt and you call it down on this creature, and just at that moment it turns a part of its wrist and kind of turns the panel of the glass at an angle, and it is actually going to spend its reaction to reflect that spell at you. So a 21 will hit you, question mark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it is you, in fact, Sylvie, who takes that 7 points of lightning damage.
Ouch.
Okay. So zap, and then you hurl this protective magic out towards Chimeran, which wraps and binds around Chimeran, and that brings us to Vera.
Vera's going to run forward, and she's going to assuming Chimeran's probably leaning against the door or something, just barely holding himself up. She's going to run forward and sees the cloak wrap around him, and she's going to reach out and put her hand on him. She's like, no, not you two, not you two. And she's going to cast Cure Wounds on him. And you are going to get 6 points of healing for that. So, because I only cast it at level 1. And then I'm going to look over at Lox, and Vera is going to reach out and she's going to point at Lox. Kill them. And I'm going to throw him a Bardic Inspiration for his next round of attack. And that's her turn.
Excellent. Okay. That was Vera. So Chimeran, you're up.
Ow! I think I'm just wailing in pain. I'm sorry. How much did I get healed for? 6?
6, yeah, for 6. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. This 9 bleed, does that happen end of turn?
Oof. Well, you just got cured, right?
I got cured wounded, yeah.
Yeah, it closes that up.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it takes care of that.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm still blind. I am being lacerated severely from this thing behind me, which I can't see. Yeah, I'm kind of a coward. I'm going to go through the door and maybe I'll pull Vera with me, because you're right there, and I'm going to pull you because you just touched me or whatever, right? Pull you through and close the door.
Are you disengaging?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Probably a good idea. Okay, so you kind of stumble through the open door. Vera, are you willing to go with Chimeran?
She's going to kind of look back at Sylvie, who just took damage, and Lox, and she's just going to shake her head and push Chimeran through the door and let him go. Okay. She's not going to leave the others in the room with these things that are absolutely wrecking us.
All right. So you kind of shove Chimeran through, kind of, pulling his hand off of your sleeve or what have you, and shoving him through the door. Chimeran, the door you close behind you as you step out onto the front steps of the cathedral. Somewhere ahead, Guillaume must not be far. Guillaume, you hear the door shut behind you of the cathedral at the top of the stairs, over the din of the crowd outside. And it is your turn.
Okay, so Guillaume will start to head in the direction that he saw that fleeing figure. Do I still see the figure?
Yes, as of right now.
Are they looking my way, or are they looking the opposite direction?
No, they are like hooded. with the hood of their cloak kind of thrown up over the top of their head, and they're hunkered down, very much trying to kind of start to blend into the crowd.
Okay, then Guillaume is gonna plant his cane, and this kind of grayish smoke very quickly comes out of the orb and seems to envelop him, and then it just dissipates into nothing. Like it like sucks into a center point as he casts invisibility on himself. And he's going to try to get within about 15 feet or so of this person and just start following them. His goal is to just try to stay as undetected as possible and silently follow.
Excellent. Okay. I was not able to see the chat and such, so I just refreshed the window. Hopefully that didn't mess anything else up. Okay, so you pop out of visibility, Guillaume, and begin to slink through the crowd after this individual. Kind of how much of a leash are you wanting to kind of give this person?
Like 10 to 15 feet, I would say.
Okay.
And unless like it starts to get to be a really dense crowd, in which case I'd probably try to get a little closer, just to not lose sight.
Okay. You're able to do so. There's a few places where it might be kind of difficult to maneuver through a crowd without bumping into anyone, trying to remain completely, unseen. But you kind of fall in to step behind this person and give pursuit. Okay. That brings us to Locks.
Okay. I'm going to drink another healing potion as my bonus action. I'm just chugging these things like they're 5-hour energies. Okay, 6, healing for 6. And then I have one more healing potion. Oh, wait, no. Chimeran's good, so I'm not going to toss a healing potion to Chimeran. Okay, I am just making sure I have a little bit of a hit point buffer before I take damage from the glass shards. I'm going to attack again. I got a bardic inspiration die. Is that a D6? Awesome. Okay, here we go. Okay, I rolled a 1 on the bardic inspiration, 15 on the die, 16, 21 to hit.
That is a hit.
Okay. Damage. Rapier 1d8 plus 5. 9 piercing damage.
Okay. This is the same one you've been tangling with?
Same one I've been beaten on.
All right. So, you can go ahead and describe for me what it looks like as you down this one stained glass golem.
So, as Lox has been tangling with this essentially just a cloud of shattered glass at this point, his the techniques and the stances that he's using are kind of shifting and changing, adapting to this foe. And I imagine that his attacks become much like wider and more slashing and less like stabbing as he would with a typical flesh and blood opponent. And I think that he sort of puts his one arm up as glass shards sort of shower him, cutting lines through his, it's like very like cover of a romance novel, because his like very fancy outfit is all cut up to shreds, just like, so you can see everything going on. And he puts his arm up, sleeve tearing with the glass shards, and then he drops his arm and just comes with a wide sweep and essentially just bisects this creature. And these two clouds of glass just go showering in all directions. And he will immediately look to the other one.
Okay. Luckily, as you end this first creature's existence, The shards that are spinning around it fall away harmlessly, and you're able to escape the shredding attack that they have been upon you as you fought this creature. Okay.
If I'm not taking any damage, I'm going to action surge
Mm-hmm.
and use movement to get to the second one and do a second attack.
Certainly, absolutely.
17 to hit.
Is a hit.
Okay, awesome. 8. 9 damage again.
Okay. You strike this one once again, kind of piercing through one of the panels of this. The shards that are flying around this will take their bite out of you for 7 points of slashing damage. Okay. It is this creature's turn. It does not have its dazzle back, so it is going to round on Lox and Vera, both who are at the front door now, top of the stairs, and one attack at each one of you. First, it's... I was just about to say, against Lox, and they fucking rolled another 20. Jesus, Matt. I don't know what you did, man, but...
I don't know what the fuck I did. All right, well, shield ain't going to help my ass now. I was like, it's going to be good. I'm going to cast shield. No problem. We got no problems.
I should have called it even before I let the die out of my hand, but... I guess it wouldn't have made a difference, but... Okay. So, full damage is going to be 17 points of slashing damage. 17 halved, 8. You're going to have an 8-point bleed from this. Once again, it kind of lays your forearm kind of open to the bone as the muscle kind of falls away, revealing your insides. Okay. The second attack is coming at Vera. You've got to be fucking... So these things...
No way.
These things crit on a 19 or 20, and I rolled a 20 against Matt this round, and then I just rolled a 19 against Vera. Okay. Guys, it was a really fun game. I love you all. Oh my god. Okay, let's see.
Jeremy, really quick. Austin just
Yes.
reminded me that I'm a half orc and I have relentless endurance. I'm using that. I'm at 1, I'm not dropped. So
Absolutely.
I got my arm
Absolutely.
cut open and I said, nope, not falling to the ground.
Nay, sir. Nay. Excellent. That's good to know. Okay, so damage for Vera. 14 points of slashing damage, and you'll have a 7-point bleed from this. Oh dear God. Okay. So, this thing has just now gone. We are back to the top of the round. Sylvie.
How is Vera looking? Probably not super awesome.
I'm at 7 out of 21, so it hit hard, but I'm standing, so I'm not. If you gotta do something else, go for it.
Okay. Just trying to figure out what I'm doing. Okay. Sylvie is going to try and get this thing to die. So she is going to again try and hit this thing with it's called a lightning launcher, which I think is an amazing name. I love that in a D&D
Holy
setting.
shit.
So she's going to use her lightning launcher again. So this ozone fills the air and just I'm using my inspiration.
Okay.
Yep. That's a 24 to hit because I rolled a 1. So
Okay. All right. So it uses its reaction again. And is
sad.
and is gonna glance it back at you.
Okay. That's okay. It wasn't that much damage.
Chat is telling me to leave you guys alone.
Hey, Jeremy. We have inspiration points that we've been gathering. Could I use one to use a reaction to grab its wrist and try to get it to stop reflecting
yes,
back
please.
on her?
100%, absolutely.
Okay, so that's having seen it reflect on her before, she sees it happening again, and as it goes to turn its wrist and she sees the lightning, Vera just is gonna reach up and kind of just grab on the creature and try to pull its arm down as hard as she can. Which she's not very strong, but just to move it enough so it can't aim.
Right. Yeah, it deflects, enough that it's not going to return back at Sylvie and will actually strike the creature and deal damage. So go ahead and roll your damage, Im. However, Vera, you're also going to take 6 additional points from the glass that surrounds this creature as you reach up and grab a hold of a part of it.
It was 5 points of damage.
5, okay. Okay. All right, so that is Sylvie. Vera, it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm going to cast a 2nd level Cure Wounds on myself. And I will get 12 hit points back. And then I am going to use a bardic inspiration, but I am not going to inspire with it. I am going to unsettling word with it. So that the next as a bonus action, you expend use of bardic inspiration. The next creature within 60 feet, creature must subtract the number rolled on the bardic inspiration dice from the next saving throw it makes at, before the start of my next turn. So
excellent. Okay.
I'm going to try to make it a little weaker.
Absolutely. What does that look like?
I think because she's realizing the thunder damage and the vibration, as she reaches up and grabs the arm with her reaction and pulls it down, and then this glass shard starts slicing into her for this extra 6 damage. As she goes to heal herself, she's going to start singing, and she's going to propel a single note forward, and she's going to focus it at the creature, and you can almost see the vibration of the different panes of this stained glass creature vibrating as she's throwing its focus off through her vibrating song.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay. Chimeran, it is your turn. By the way, you rolled really well on your saving throw after your last turn. Is that right?
I did. I rolled a nat 20.
Okay, cool. So almost as if stepping out of the cathedral finally managed to kind of shake the worst of this problem with your vision away. You kind of are starting to blink and are seeing shapes and shadows moving around now and are able to start identifying them as people. And you realize that you're just outside the steps of the cathedral.
Wonderful. Are there any bricks, stones, boulders? Well, not boulders, because rocks, anything around on the ground here that I could pick up?
I would say so. Al Hidalgo is a city that is made largely out of stone, and there are parts of it that are not always in great repair. So I would imagine there's lots of loose rocks around.
I'd like to grab two, like good fist-sized ones. Reopen the door, and I want to throw a rock at this creature.
Okay. So you'll make a thrown attack, which I think is strength based.
Dex still. I was looking at it.
Oh, okay.
If it's a thrown weapon, you can use Dex.
Excellent. Cool.
But you don't get to add your Dex to Dex.
To the damage, right?
Okay, so that would be a 20, a dirty 20 to hit.
That'll certainly hit. So I would say a D4 of damage.
3.
Okay. It is bludgeoning damage, so it is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. So that's going to be 6 points of damage.
And I'm not sure if sneak attack is effective on a creature like this, but I do have that. Nope, I have to hit with finesse or ranged weapon.
You got a point of inspiration?
I do have a point of inspiration.
Do you want to spend a point of inspiration?
I think so, because this is hurting us very badly.
Then
So
if
it's like
you want to do that, I'll let you apply your sneak attack to this.
Wonderful. I'm going to. Because we need this. So that rock hit for another 5 points.
Doubled into 10. Okay. What does it look like when you destroy this second golem?
Oh. So the scene is inside. It's like disaster hitting. Like Lox is bleeding, Vera's bleeding, Sylvie's bleeding, everybody's just bleeding everywhere, and this creature is just flying around, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and you can't really see there because there's like the silhouette as the moons, I guess, are just kind of converging enough that there's a silhouette in the door as Chimeran throws this rock, and it's not terribly big, but it manages to hit the creature kind of smack dab in the foreheadish area region of its, right where that reflecting gaze was coming from, and it's almost like it goes in there and it hovers and then it's like a breath before the pieces just kind of shatter and fall.
The glass collapses to the ground, kind of spreading this multicolored mayhem kind of all over the floor. The creatures no longer maintaining the sunlight that they had, even though they were no longer a part of the windows that came from. And lying in the scattered shards of one of these creatures, there is a strange looking sword. One of the swords that the creature was wearing did not fall apart whenever the creature did. It simply is lying there on the floor.
Chimeran kind of looks to Lox first, before, if he doesn't look like he's reaching to take it, then Chimeran will reach down to take it.
Okay, give me just one moment.
And
Well,
with
not
the dagger I threw at the guy before.
Okay, yeah, that's not hard to do. So this sword, when you pick it up, while not a traditional sword by design, this weapon is sharper than any steel that you have ever held. The blade is much wider than most rapiers, but the lightness of its heft gives the wielder incredible control. Made of a myriad of colored glass fragments, it softly glows with a rainbow hue of colors. The lead lining continues down from the blade and wraps into a handbasket depicting a flowering vine.
That's pretty.
Chimeran has collected this weapon. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would probably brandish it a couple of times, give it a couple of flourishing swings. Not at anybody that's hurt or anything, but just in the air around.
It kind of makes that kind of singing noise as it zips through the air with relative ease. Okay. All right, so from further in the cathedral, where the rest of the party was going on, there is a lot of commotion now that the din of combat has died down. For those of you in this entranceway, you can hear that there is a ton of conversation, heated conversation, that is going on back amongst the partygoers that are still present at this gala. But before we get to that, we're back where Guillaume is unseen by any eyes, making his way in and out of the crowd, following this individual. And at some point, you come around a corner where you have lost sight of them for the briefest of moments. And as you kind of come around this corner to regain line of sight on this person, you simply see a section of the brick wall sliding closed on a doorway, with the cloaked individual disappearing inside of it. The masonry that is covered with ivy on this wall kind of makes that, and if you didn't realize that that was just open a moment before, you would have no clue that there was an opening there.
Is this is in a spot that seems like it would be like there's enough landmarks around it that I could find this section of wall again pretty easily, right? Like it's...
Yes, I would say so. You can kind of look at a couple of things and say, okay, I can find this again.
I think Guillaume, just to be safe, would he's likely to have something that he could just kind of walk over and mark like a tiny mark just on the ground, like where the seam was, just to try to remember like where it specifically separated. But after that, he's not going to try to find the opening now or anything. He's going to head back to the cathedral and regroup.
Okay. While Guillaume is making his way back to the cathedral, here in the entryway where you all are kind of recollecting yourselves after this skirmish, and you can hear the din of noise kind of rising in the cathedral proper back behind you. I think this is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. I know we kind of had a little bit of one earlier, but it wasn't really unplanned, or was unplanned, so we're going to go ahead and take one. All of you can level up, so if you want to take care of that during the break that we have, then that's fantastic. So welcome to level 4, everyone. That was incredible. I cannot wait to get to the second half of what I have planned for the evening, but I'm already super stoked about how that went. Sorry, not sorry for beating the shit out of you guys. Kind of my job. But sit tight, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with us through all the technical difficulties and whatnot. We will be right back in 10. So sit tight, and we'll see you on the other side. welcome back to the third session of Evermore le Masquerade. This is titled A Twist of the Knife, or A Shard of Glass. Still up in the air about it. Welcome to the second half of the evening. After a harrowing battle with two stained glass golems in the entranceway of the Cathedral of Evendel, the church dedicated to the goddess of justice, where the funeral gala was being held, we rejoin the heroes, or some of them at least, as the discussion deeper inside the cathedral seems to be growing in level of noise and intensity. Meanwhile, outside in the streets of Alidalgo, Guillaume is now making his way back to the cathedral. Still invisible, actually, even. So, yes, Chimeran has found a new sword. You have kind of gathered yourselves back up onto your feet and tended to your wounds. Does anybody still have a bleed that has not been tended to? No? Good news. Very good news.
You know what? I think I might actually. I think I do. But I will go ahead and down my last, my third and final healing potion here to get a few hit points back and staunch the bleeding.
Yeah, okay. All of you, to some extent or another, have torn clothing, whether it was, something you were doing as a part of casting your magic, or it was something that these things themselves did by the very nature of their kind of swirling shards of colored glass. All of you look a little rough at the moment. Several of your garments are at the very least blood-stained, in addition to being torn. So I imagine you look a little sad at the moment. Definitely not as ostentatious as you looked earlier in the evening.
My dear Sylvie, I am so sorry. You did such a beautiful job on this outfit, and it's in tatters. And for those of you who know, Chimeran's back was entirely laid into, and he's mostly kept that kind of hidden, as it's covered as much as possible. But in some of the glances that you'd get to see when he's picking up the sword or whatever, you'd see that his upper torso is heavily bandaged around. Now some of them are slightly lacerated too, but the binding is still holding. But he was quite a lot of bandages really wrapped around his torso that you can see now without the clothes on. I do not think I can go back into there. I'm certainly not dressed for it anymore.
Party's over, I think. Where's Guillaume?
As if on cue, the door would open and then close as if on its own. And he would wait a moment, almost not realizing that no one was why no one was speaking to him or acknowledging him yet. And then realize oh, of course, and then drop the spell, and just kind of next to all of you, he just appears. He goes, well, don't you all look a right mess? And he's still pristine, like he was completely out of the fight.
Chimeran would have probably squealed a little bit as you just appeared right there beside him. What? No fanfare?
There's no time. We've got other things going on at the moment.
Do you see where she went?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure we're going to be able to follow, though. Unless some of you know more about the city architecture than I do, apparently there are some doors that are just in walls. I marked the spot. I can show you where it is. I don't think she saw me, though, so I think she doesn't know what we know.
What do y'all think? I don't really want to stay here and wait for the Justicaros to show up.
I just want to take a quick look at what is going on. There is quite a commotion.
I agree. We need to go and we need to find out what that weird. They had to be hiding something. That darkness, that weird bubble. Something had to have happened in there. Something was taken. Something was left. Someone was killed. We should at least take a look at that, and then we can go check out where Guillaume managed to run away to during the fight.
I think at this, Sylvie is going to cast disguise self on herself, not to look any different, but just to mend her clothes, to make them look pristine again.
Okay.
Fox
yeah,
will
absolutely.
prestidigitation the blood off at least. It doesn't fix the clothes, but at least not blood soaked anymore.
Right. Okay. So the few of you that feel up to braving it, you kind of move through back out of that atrium, kind of back into the proper open space of the cathedral, where all of these people are kind of gathered around, close to where the body was on display. And you can overhear very plainly that people are saying things like, Why would someone steal it? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what purpose anyone could have in taking such a thing. And for just a couple of moments, you might be confused, but eventually you'll piece it together. Apparently, the funeral mask of Tureen was stolen. And the two individuals that you saw stumble out of the sphere earlier both died.
What an odd thing to kill for. Guillaume will just kind of wonder this aloud.
Why would someone steal the mask?
Maybe it's not just a mask. We know from Sylvie here that mundane items can contain untold power. Maybe there was something to it.
Perhaps whoever killed him wanted to make a dig at the family too. Maybe this is just to prove a point, to say that they can.
I mean, the whole thing seems fairly personal. You don't choke a man to death with coins unless you have some sort of grudge against him, I would assume.
A lot easier ways to kill somebody, that's true.
Wasn't there something about... Wasn't he disgraced until recently?
That was his grandson.
Okay.
Mhm.
But he certainly wasn't well liked by everybody. I'm sure there's a dozen people that could stand to gain by his demise.
and 10 dozen that wouldn't be mourning him, I'm sure.
While this conversation is happening, I'm just going to step back a few steps and stand beside Chimeran and just sort of quietly say, "Hey, you all right?"
I felt better, but I'll be okay. You took some mighty hits there.
Yeah. No, I'm all right. I have the uncanny ability to not die.
Which I am extremely appreciative of.
If you and I'll kind of like take my cloak off one shoulder. If you just need something to throw on, you can have my cloak. It's torn to shreds anyway.
For a brief moment, you see like almost like this immense relief pass over Chimeran's face before it's kind of gone in the poise that he normally has. And he will definitely take your cloak and kind of wrap around his shoulders. Thank you. I was feeling so out of sorts not being, dressed properly anymore.
Don't mention it.
The two people who died in the sphere, I don't know if you mentioned it already. Who were they? Were they of anyone of importance, or?
Once it's determined that they're in danger, their masks were removed or whatnot, so it's pretty easy to determine who they were. And while they were someone of import and station here within the city, it isn't anyone that seems directly involved in the family's affairs or the business or anything like that. It seems like they simply just were in that area whenever it happened. And everything, like looking at them, everything about them looks almost like a drowning victim, except for the total presence of water. Nothing on them is damp or wet in any way, but they still have the look of someone who drowned.
Speaking of family, do we see any of the family?
Yes, they are the ones that seem to be leading the conversation the most heatedly. They are furious, and the Justicaros that are present are pretty much like sequestered to dealing with them. They've kind of cornered the Justicaros and are, just basically ripping into them about how they could have let this happen and why are they not, doing more to try to go after the person, and just it's becoming very unseemly in here very quickly.
Chimeran will turn to. Sorry, go ahead, Sylvie.
I think before maybe we leave or something, Sylvie wants to just while everyone's kind of distracted, Sylvie wants to take a look around where this darkness was, and wants to look for anything arcane, maybe some suspicious looking sigils.
Okay, so roll me either investigation or arcana.
Oh, 25.
Holy shit. Okay. So you find no sigils or runes of any kind in the area, but what you do find is like grains of black sand. Not a whole lot, maybe a half a teaspoon worth. Kind of scattered over a 1 foot area, give or take. And it seems to be more or less right at the center of where everybody has been saying that this sphere was.
Sylvie wants to collect some of this black sand, just
Okay.
a tiny bit if she can.
Sure, absolutely. You can scoop some of it up with a serving spoon or something, even from a nearby table, and kind of put it in
Puts it
a
into her
cloth or
thimble.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're perfect. There you
Yeah.
go. So yeah, mark down that you have a little bit of this black sand on you.
This doesn't
And
look
maybe
familiar.
right
Like
where you got it from. Sorry, go ahead.
this doesn't look very. Does this look familiar at all? Like, does Sylvie, like, where would we find black sand? Is that something that would ring anything for Sylvie?
No, I don't think so. Roll history. But do so at disadvantage though.
Okay. 17.
Okay. So it's not something that you have heard much about, but at some point in your life, it might have even been at one point when you were taking an oceanic voyage. The sailors spoke of a place where they saw sands that were black around a mountain that belched fire.
Cool. Okay. Sylvie will return to the others.
Chimeran would have turned to Locks at one point while we were watching the family and how they're arguing with the Justicaros, and would just kind of lean in and say, "So, do we get involved and let them know what we know, or do we keep it to ourselves and disappear before we're noticed?"
We don't really know anything, to be honest, and I say we don't get ourselves involved with the Justicarios ever, if we don't have to.
I'm more thinking the family, because the family is really wanting to know, and if we might get on their good side if we talk to them.
I don't know. I'm kind of shoddy at this social maneuvering shit, but I think Vera has a good head on her shoulders for that. So I don't know, maybe defer to her.
I mean, we could attempt to talk to them and see, but also we have no idea who's behind this. What if it's an internal family thing and them knowing we know things is not just these families, these houses, they bicker within themselves as much as they do between each other. And families like to keep their secrets.
Valid. So once we find out more, then potentially we can
I would
make
just,
good graces.
yes, I'd want to make sure that by speaking to them, we are not putting ourselves out.
It's probably wise, but I will not lie that I would love to take some credit for stepping up and trying to catch the bad guy, unlike those Justicaros over there, but wiser heads must prevail.
It succeeded, perhaps. Maybe once we succeed, if we intend to follow that particular line, and he starts to realizing like what that's going to mean. But if that's what we're going to do, maybe then we bring this, because as of right now, anyone over there could be the one responsible for this. And if we start blabbing, that's a good way to put a target on our back.
Speaking of targets on the back, I am completely out of place. All 4 of you look fine. I do not. I'm leaving. And Chimeran will turn and head back out to where we would just fought to go out. Not feeling very comfortable, actually, at this point, being the only bloodied person in the room.
Should we head back in that direction too? Should we go look at this wall that you wanted to show us? This place that it was marked?
As much as I want to catch whoever it was, suck those window nights on us, I'm not up for another fight. I think we could all use some rest. And I think we should try and stick together as much as possible. Because like it or not, we've already got targets on our back.
Why don't you all come to my father's manor for the evening? I think it'll be safe there. There's plenty of room. You can all find a place to sleep. We've got food and drink.
I don't want to put you out, Guillaume. I know you're not super tight with the old father there. I don't want to put any strain on you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I still keep a room there. My stuff's there. He doesn't mind me coming and going. We'll be all right. He may not even be there. He's often got business with the university, so you know.
On that note, I'll kind of rush to catch up with Chimeran, and I will use prestidigitation and pull all the blood and stuff off his clothes and say, sounds like we're bunking over at Guillaume's place. Try to stick together.
Is that a good plan?
I believe that it is a plan, which is better than no plan.
Do we must?
I know I don't super love the idea either, but I mean, Guillaume's pop is kind of loaded and there's probably going to be food and drink there and comfy beds. And I really do think we should all try to stick together.
And it'd be very rude of me if I don't go, is what you're saying.
Exactly. You know, invitation extended. You don't want to offend his family. So you should probably come and eat all their food.
Okay. As a favor to you, Lux, I will do such things. But this is my one request. Not even a request. It's not even a demand. It is a certainty. I must return home first and change.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
Okay, then it is settled.
Okay. Before you leave, as the party seems to be very quickly winding down and people are starting to make their exits, Guillaume, at some point, you're making your way towards the front door, and a voice kind of calls out to you from one of the columns kind of off to the side. And when you look, there is Primanda de Bellino, the youthful poison expert that you sought the advice of just a day or so ago. She's leaning against a part of the wall, kind of hanging out in this shadow. You can kind of see the glow of her kind of yellowish orange eyes. She says, "You keep some very interesting company, Guillaume."
I mean, I certainly find you interesting.
Not me. She kind of like kicks a piece of like colored broken glass that's like laying on the ground nearby.
I certainly don't know what you mean. I clearly had nothing to do with that. And he looks at his like well tailored kind of fancy outfit, and he's clearly undamaged. He goes, "Oh, them. My friends are a rough and tumble bunch sometimes, I suppose. I what can I say? I run in a plethora of social circles."
Apparently expensive ones as well. Do you want to know what I found out about this poison that you sent me?
He'll look around, like making sure, like, how private is this conversation?
It's private enough that it would take someone attempting to eavesdrop in order to hear anything about it.
All right, he'll drop his voice just a little bit. I suppose I would like to know everything you can tell me about it.
Well, for starters, it is known as Zealot's Blade. It is a very expensive toxin. This version it has been modified specifically for potency against elves. You see, Zealot's Blade is crafted from a potent venom, and it's modified to affect certain creatures more than others. It's fascinating, truly, which is probably why it costs what it costs. One of these vials, it has a street value of 6,000 gold pieces, Guillaume. Whoever it is that you stole that from is missing it.
It's clear from his face that he doesn't quite know what that means. Like how much money that is to normal people. Like he's like, oh, 6,000. Okay. So that's like 2 weeks allowance. Okay, that's pretty frustrating. That would be upsetting. Like he's got that look on his face. He's not going to say that out loud, but that's just what he's thinking, and it comes
perfect.
Across.
She kind of seems surprised that you're not surprised by that information. She says, "So, whoever it was that used this, they certainly wanted him dead. It seems." With such an extremely strong poison, including the coins for them to choke upon, seems unnecessarily excessive.
Well, I appreciate all the information. We will obviously uphold our end of the deal. We'll get your payment. It'll just take a little while. Apparently, maybe these vials I can finance it.
You have
a little
more of them.
distraught at that. Right. Yes, we did give you. Boy, we gave you quite a few of them, didn't we? Two of them. Oof. And he just realizes, like, oh no, we gave her like all the money. Okay. Well, I appreciate all the information. And I wish I had known you were here earlier. I would have asked you for a dance.
That's not really my thing.
It's not mine either. But we do what we must do for appearances.
Some of us do.
And he'll just kind of like shrug at that, like, yeah, you got me there.
I'll see you when I see you, Guillaume.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. And he'll kind of give a short bow and
expecting
walk back.
To run into more people who get poisoned then.
It's sort of a reflexive manners sort of thing, but I do truly enjoy your company. So thank you very much.
At that point, the the widow Devolino is like standing not that far away, and she kind of Pramanda, and she kind of sighs and turns and walks away, and the widow of Aladalgo kind of stares you down through this veil, Guillaume, definitely sizing you up.
Yeah, he turns back to everyone and just winces as he's like feeling this size up on him. Okay, I may have misplayed that.
Well, if you were just more straightforward, if you're interested in the girl, then just say you are. The widow will be happy.
Well, she's interesting. There's no doubt about that. And he just looks very unsure. It's like, yeah, I'm not really sure what I think.
You should figure it out.
All right. So it sounds like, is everybody going back to Guillaume's pad? Crashing there?
Sure, but I gotta make a pit stop.
Ah, okay. Are you doing so on your own, or is everyone going with you, or maybe they're going to stop
think we
and
would
pick up like
probably
Mountain Dew and
accompany-
Funyuns? And okay.
I think we'd accompany him if our goal was to stick together, because we're like a little paranoid
Fair.
now that we've gotten into some shit.
Certainly.
Yeah, Guillaume would like to try to keep everyone together if possible as well. But, I mean, he heard Lox say that, and Lox is the one that knows about doing fighting things. And so he's like, yeah, no, if he says like we should all be there for the fighting part, we should all be there.
Okay. So, Karen, do you want to describe what like Chimeran's digs look like as we kind of roll up on them?
So they're not overly ornate, but they're definitely of the upper class digs. We're talking, it's like a little casa. It's got in this case, like a white adobe on the outside. It is 2 stories tall in a very kind of opulent part of town. So it's definitely on the higher end, but it is not ostentatious whatsoever, but respectable. Not much else to say about that. There, I mean, there's some trees, that produce the, I don't know, like olive, like whatever thing you have in this world, that kind of thing. There's
Sure.
Figs, whatever. It's there's some greenery around, but it's definitely not like super rich.
So maybe it has like a gondola landing kind of outside on the side that faces the canal, kind of right at water level thing, and then maybe there's in the center there might even be like an open air courtyard kind of thing where a lot of the greenery that you mentioned is probably located, window boxes and things of that nature. There's a lot of vertical building in Aladalgo because the buildable real estate is so limited. The actual footprint of the city itself is very finite. So you're able to kind of take a moment, a little bit of a breather, while Chimeran returns here and goes about his business, getting changed and whatnot. And
I believe I'd
Vitor.
probably send
Oh, sorry, go
Vitor,
ahead.
to take care of them.
Yeah, exactly. That makes great sense. Vitor, the Chimeran's manservant, valet, I don't know what the proper term would be for this culture, will kind of tend to all of you, make sure that your needs are met and whatnot. Did you have something, Karen, that you wanted to add?
No,
No?
that's good.
Oh,
Yeah, he would like offer them a drink or something. It would be like wine, and I think we know that Lox likes cheese. Is that correct? So there'd be a little bit of cheese on the as well as the wine.
Sylvie wants to do some very light snooping in Chimeran's place.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Just whenever like Vitor like is like kind of gone to get something,
Mhm.
you see Sylvie's just gonna kind of step up and just very innocently, oh, I never really looked at this painting. I've never seen anything like it. It is quite beautiful. Here, let me see it from this angle. And she's just gonna like be like moving around, but also kind of snooping in the house.
Excellent. Oh, okay. Give me a stealth roll. And instead of it actually being necessarily whether or not you're detected, this will be whether or not you might discover something. That's not a good face.
Sorry, I rolled. I don't know why on my D&D Beyond it says I have advantage on stealth, but I don't know why that is. But I got a 14, just straight roll. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say that there is a small something that Sylvie finds, but I'm going to let Karen determine what that is. You don't have to do that right now. You can think on it if you want, just maybe before next session. And then you can just shoot that directly to M if you want. And then just let me know what it is also, just so that I maybe can tweak it in the background. Unless you have an idea right now, then by all means.
I'm thinking it's something that's kind of just like discarded on over a like a table or a chair, just kind of misplaced. You can tell like Chimeran wasn't expecting guests. The place is clean, obviously, but there's some things that were probably left out that normally would maybe not be so much. And so maybe like on a writing desk, there is a, I don't know how to call it, like a sash almost, just kind of wrapped and coiled in a spot on this desk. And I mean, it doesn't look like to anybody else seeing it, it would be like, whatever, it's just a piece of clothing randomly sitting here. But to Sylvie, you would recognize this as a gift that you had given to sorry, as I'm pulling up name.
Sophia? Is that it?
No, not Sophia.
No, not Sophia.
Sorry, 1 second. You guys talk amongst yourselves if I find out.
How can we possibly? I want pins and needles over here.
Well, I will say one thing.
Oh,
sure.
Solana. That you had a present that you'd given to Solana.
Oh. Sylvie's just gonna like run her fingers over the very familiar fabric and just kind of tilt her head to the side a little bit. As she's not going to mention everything, but she does turn back to the others and, oh, there is something that I found. And she's going to pull out this thimble with the black sand in it and show it to the others. I found this by the where the severe was.
I was going to say, while we were waiting, I think Vera probably would have pulled out her pan flute and started playing, and Song of Rest did everyone. So while we were sitting there, During the short rest, you guys can, if you used one or more hit dice to regain hit points, you get an extra 1d6 hit points that you can add to yourselves. So she would have been doing that, and she's gonna stop playing. And you found dirt?
No, 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 no. And this is black sand.
Could it be some sort of component used in whatever that magic was?
That is what I am thinking. But I do not know of any black sands near here. I wonder if it is hard to get. I think at that she would turn to Guillaume. Maybe he would know something about magical components and their rarity. Or maybe not. But yeah, she would turn to him.
Yes, Jeremy. Would I know that?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use another inspiration point on this to not be
Okay.
embarrassed in his like what's supposed to be his area of expertise. Okay, that's a little better. So that's going to be a 17.
Okay. So taking a look at this, Guillaume, you think that you've seen something kind of like this before. It wasn't black. It's the kind of material that is left behind whenever a pearl has been used as like a material component in a spell.
I think I've seen something like this before. It wasn't black. It's like the material left. Oh, damn it! I got so close. I was trying so hard to memorize everything you were saying so I could just repeat it verbatim. But that's what Guillaume says to everyone else as he realizes. Those would cost quite a bit. I mean, pearls are not cheap in and of themselves, and pearl producing oysters even more if you can find them.
Guillaume, do you know of any sort of magic that would require a pearl as a component and that would drown people? Because that's what it felt like before I walked out of there. Felt like I was underwater, deep water.
Oh, of course, it must have crushed the pearl. It must be so a black pearl. I can't think of any spells I've read about that required a black pearl. That would be that sounds like some sort of custom magic. I mean, that's something that you need to spend time on.
So these folks have limitless funds and extremely powerful magic. Do we think it's the same people that offed them in the first place?
Don't forget they also have secret doors hidden in the walls of our city. I would say it's not beyond imagining.
Men in the Iron Mask, that's what I've heard them called. If that is who showed up tonight.
I didn't get a particularly good look at the person's face as I was chasing them. They took their costume off, but they had a hood on the whole time. I couldn't say if they had a mask on under the hood.
Well, I might have an idea of next places to look. I have some people kind of keeping an eye on things in the alleyways and such. And well, something they told me was to look into someone called the Saint of Rats. I don't necessarily know what that means. He kind of looks at everyone else for facial recognition, says, but if anyone knows about hidden doors and places underground and such, it would probably be someone called Saint of Rats.
Yeah, Guillaume is barely like containing a laugh at that name. Like that's someone calls themselves that.
I don't know if they call themselves that, but that's what these kids call them.
There is also your friend, Guillaume, the magic, the one who does the runes who disappeared.
Yeah, that. Well, I wouldn't call Ravito a friend exactly. I would, but we should check in with him as well.
So Chimeran is able to finish what he is doing here, changing, gathering, whatever he might want before heading out. And before long, you all arrive at the estate del Estote. Guillaume, what does your family's pad look like? You got an MTV crib. There you go. So yeah, there's this.
Oh, this is much nicer than my place.
Yeah, very large.
So this
mansion.
is a big fancy manor house. This is clearly like this place reeks of nobility. And immediately, I'm assuming there are probably some servants. And upon entering, like one of them would take Guillaume's horse, who he's leading in, just immediately, and like he would kind of just wave them off. Let them take the horse, but not have them tend to him or any of us. I'm like, come on, let's get inside. I think we can get cleaned up and fed.
At some point, all of you are making your way kind of through this like grand foyer that kind of holds, like a grand multi-tiered staircase. And Guillaume is kind of leading the way, and it's rather late at this point. I would say it's probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning now, because this party went pretty late into the evening as it was, and it was already starting to wind down before any of this transpired. So the house is fairly quiet. Just kind of your footfalls across the placed stone floors as you're crossing this open space. But a voice does ring out. Guillaume, another late night party?
Something like that. It was a bit of a rougher one than usual, but doing fine, thank you. I see you're still up.
You return home with your clothes tattered. Oh no, you don't. No, you return.
Yeah, I'm the one that looks good.
You return with a group of ruffians.
Now, let's not be too hasty. I would say only 2 of my 4 companions would qualify as ruffians. The other 2 are just in an unfortunate state of dress.
Again, I expected more from you, Guillaume.
Father, I promise you this is not exactly what it looks like.
It never is, Guillaume. It's never the way it looks. There's always some story, some excuse.
Tell me, were you familiar at all with the the deceased to be Viscount?
Consigliere Agniasa? No, I cannot say that I had the pleasure.
I wouldn't say pleasure, but fair enough. I promise you, Father, my friends here and I have noble goals, and the lateness of the hour was not our intent. I mean, sure, there was the funeral, the celebration. We were enjoying the occasion. I was a little surprised not to see you there. I know you don't love to rub shoulders, but would have been nice to see you at a social gathering for once.
They took that man's funeral and turned it into a reason to party. I do not see a reason to share wine with that kind of people. I bid all of you a good evening. I hope that you enjoy my son's hospitality.
Thank you, Father. A delightful interaction as always.
Chimaran would bow, giving him respect, before turning and looking at Guillaume and giving him like the, I guess, most disgusted look. Like, your dad.
Guillaume, your dad's kind of a dick, you know that?
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed. I guess 20 years of living with him, I just never took that into account. Yes, no, I'm aware.
Sorry, I was hoping we wouldn't make it weird.
Don't we always? Come to the kitchen. I'm sure someone's still up.
Hard
He'll make just enough noise on the way there to ensure that
Right.
that's the case, that there's at least like one servant who begrudgingly gets up.
Yes, absolutely. Kind of like in their night clothes, like kind of sleepy-eyed, but will absolutely fix something for you and your friends. I imagine
I
that
did
your
not get
relationship
any
with
of
this...
those.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I did not get any of those Aladalgo eggs. I would love. Could you whip some of those up for us?
Could you just fucking boil some
think-
eggs into it?
I would like anything but those if you have anything else.
I think Vera just like looks at Guillaume. She's just like, you can't just let them go back to sleep.
Do you know how to make Aladalgo eggs?
Do you need them at 2:00 in the morning?
That's actually
Fine,
the
okay.
best time to eat Aladalgo eggs, to be fair.
All right. Nix the eggs. We'll have 2 bottles of wine, and then you can head back to bed. I would do it myself. I don't know where we keep the wine.
The servant looks very relieved, even kind of giving Vera like a silent thank you before like disappearing and then coming back with a couple of bottles of wine and maybe even a little bit more cheese for Lox, and some like a summer sausage or something, something that doesn't have to be kept too cold.
Looking at all of the people and like kind of catching their stares of judgment at him, Guillaume will say, "Thank you so much." And you know what? Why don't you take the rest of tomorrow off? You were awoken so late at night. I don't want to bother you. If my father asks, just tell him it was my prerogative.
Thank you. And runs off back to bed.
Lovely people. They've been with us for years.
Ox kind of gestures with a sausage and says, "That's a man who hasn't had a day off in a long time, Guillaume."
What's his name?
Bernard. And he is clearly making that up on the spot.
Bernard seems very pleasant.
Yes, lovely man, lovely man. Spent many an hour playing chess with him in my younger days. He taught me the game. Anyway, so after we rest and recuperate, are we going for? Should we go to Ravito's house? Because if your assistant was with him and she hasn't seen him, and no one at school has seen him, I think there's a chance he had something to do with this and he's in danger, which means maybe he would be a good first stop.
He's either in danger or he is the danger. Either way, we need to find out.
Personally, I think he's already dead, but I'm trying to be optimistic for the group.
Well, if he is, we can maybe find something that he has on him.
I mean, you're all welcome to rifle through his pockets. I don't need any of his money.
Sylvie, I think, like, looks a little like offended and is going to like inhale to like say something, but then she just, I see that the apple does not fall far from the tree, and is going to leave.
No, she must be tired.
She's certainly tired of something or somebody. Yes.
I do apologize for my father intruding on our evening like that. That was rather uncalled for. He's just completely clueless. He's just not getting it.
I think I'm tired also. Where is the room I'm to retire to?
Probably the West Wing. Father's sleeping in the East now. I'll show you, since we don't want to wake up any of the serving people. And he'll direct everyone to their rooms.
Lox gets up to follow and then kind of like grabs one of the bottles of wine and then follows and then kind of turns back and grabs the cutting board of cheese and then
I think when we get to the room that she's given, Vera is going to, before she walks into the room, she's going to look at him and say, "Thank you. If I require anything else, I'll wake you." And she'll slip in the door and shut it.
Yeah, as he's kind of leading the rest of you to the rooms down the hall, you'd all hear a kind of like a little and this big mastiff comes kind of like loping around the hallway bend, and Guillaume is just gonna drop to his knees and just full on bear hug the dog as it like charges into him and bowls him over. And then he'll like almost immediately like start like getting up and like pet the dog, like yes, so your room will be here, and just call no attention to what just happened.
Lox he will immediately just be like, "Oh, now who's this good boy? Who is this, Guillaume?"
I had a name for him, and then I totally forgot what it was. So his name is gonna be Perry, because it's kind of like Spanish for dog. Yes, this is Perry. He's one of the goodest boys.
Oh, Perry, it's a good name for a good boy. And I'll like give him half of probably more sausages than a dog should be eating. I'll give it to him and be like, There, that's a good boy. There we go. You can stay in my room tonight, okay? All right. Where am I sleeping, Guillaume?
Well, I suppose if you want to sleep with the dog, you should sleep in the dog's room, and he'll lead you to one of the a fully
Hey,
furnished bedroom.
The dog has a room. The dog has a room.
Well, no one else was using them.
All right, I'll sleep in the dog's room. Sure. Yeah, point me towards it.
It's one of the most comfortable beds you've ever seen, most likely. It's just a fully furnished bedroom that happens to have a very plush dog bed also in the room.
The dog has a fucking 4-poster bed. It's got a canopy and shit.
There's a portrait of the dog above the hearth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the dog bed on the floor untouched, never been slept in, but
That's
bed
what I was
is
thinking. Yeah, so, and then Guillaume will gesture to the dog to the bed on the floor, you can. He'll look at Locks Perry can sleep on this one for tonight, I suppose.
There's a very indignant huff.
I wouldn't want to kick Perry out of his bed. I don't mind sleeping on the floor. It will not be the first time and certainly not the last. Perry, please, you can have the bed. I will sleep on the couch tonight.
I mean, the bed is large enough if you wanted to share. I will say he likes to be the big spoon.
Hey, that works out great for me. So.
All right, be nice. And he'll just look down at the dog.
So I think the last thing you see, Guillaume, as you leave the room is Locks half propped up on the bed, drinking wine, and just in his arm is this just gigantic dog. And he just kind of raises the bottle good night.
Oh, heaven.
All right. All of you are able to get a good night's rest. For some of you, this may be one of the most luxurious beds that you've slept in some time. The house is quiet. It's well insulated, and the people that work here are used to, tiptoeing around at least where Guillaume sleeps during the earlier hours of the morning, so you're able to sleep in a little and get a full rest. When you wake up in the morning and you reconvene, breakfast has been made. There is no sign of Guillaume's father, which is not unusual. He takes his breakfast very early, Guillaume, you would know. And it's very light typically, and then he's off to the university for the rest of the day, most of the time. So you're kind of able to sit down at a full table, if you will, with a variety of breakfast foods that have been prepared for the morning, and discuss what the plan is.
I need to go home and clean up before we go do anything else today. I need a change of clothes. Sylvie? Lux? Do you two need to do the same?
Yeah, I probably should.
Yes, I will have to make sure that the shop is all closed up for the day.
Should
will be wandering?
Should we perhaps do that and then meet at your shop? We could go from there. Where do we want to go after that?
Well, seeing as how I don't have much on the Saint of Rats beyond the name, maybe we go with our lead with Guillaume.
When he says Saint of Rats this morning, does that trigger any bells or anything in Chimeran's mind?
Cameron, how long have you been in Aladango?
I believe I said 3 years.
It's a few years.
Yeah. I believe, yeah, it was like something like 3 or something. Yeah,
Okay.
3 years now.
Yeah, so if you'd like, you can roll history. Anybody that has been around Aladango for a while, if you'd like, you can roll history.
Oh, no.
No, certainly does not sound like the type of character that you would want to get involved with. Vera, you on the other hand, you apparently know that there is an individual known as the Saint of Rats. There are other people who also refer to this individual as the hold on. This one is in pseudo Spanish, so I need to get to where I have that written down. Oh, please. Okay. They are also known as Santa Canilla de los Canales, which is the angel of the canals. So the Saint of Rats is also known as the angel of the canals by certain circles. Very much kind of somebody that everybody in the neighborhood kind of knows. Seems to have their ear to the ground and have a good pulse on the goings on in the city.
Is the difference in the names based on how you know them, or is it just based on who's talking about them?
Usually it's just who's talking about them. I would say that there's not a ton of people that know them by both of those names.
Okay.
A lot of times it has to do with the person's interactions with them.
Okay. Hmm. You said it's just someone who knows what's going on around, and it's kind of just an information kind of broker type person.
Kind of. It's kind of the person that you go to if you need something. That you go to if you need help. You go to if you need information. They're kind of the unofficial glue that binds the kind of the lesser folk of the city together, if you will.
Okay. And would I know how to find them?
You've never heard of any kind of location that they stick to exclusively. They are a gondolier. They move throughout the city most of the day and night.
Okay. She'd relay that bit of information that she knows. Then I'm I mean, they're constantly on the move, so I guess the most you can do is kind of make it known that you need them, and it's one of those things where they'll find you.
Maybe the gondoliers would be a good place to start with that. We rent one for the day, maybe make it known what we're looking for. If he's known to be moving in those circles.
Maybe. I mean, it's a definite thing we could try. It might be best to not have all of us there. This is someone who deals more with the lesser folks of the city. And she'll kind of look around at the giant mansion that they're in, and then kind of look at Guillaume's like clothes, and I'm just saying I'm not sure that they're going to think that you need them enough to speak to you.
Oh, I think I understand what you mean. It's time for a little bit of dress up then. And he'll get kind of a grin, like I get to pull out my Prince and the Pauper thing. That's fun.
Dressing down is more what I'm looking for.
I think that can be accomplished. There's at least one of the serving people that has my size. I should be able to borrow some of their clothes. That'll make me look sufficiently poor, right?
I think at that, Sylvie has been.
You muted. Sylvie has been, and then it went.
Oh, weird.
Get
Okay.
censored.
Stop it.
Too hot for TV.
Sylvie's been kind of pacing, and I think at that, it is good to know, Guillaume, that you think that dressing down is something fun and exciting for you. While you're at it, why don't you make it so that the servant can wear your clothes for today, and maybe that way somebody worthy of these clothes could actually do something with their life. And Sylvie is going to get up and leave.
We'll see you at your shop later, dear.
I rolled to see if Guillaume was wise enough to understand like how horribly he's being burned, and then I rolled a 2. I do not understand what's gotten into her, but I suppose we'll all meet up at her shop later.
So after, go ahead, please.
Locke's just kind of like leans over to Vera so that only she can hear him, and he says, Sylvie is gonna murder Guillaume.
I am here for this.
I'm not saying I'm gonna do anything to stop it, but we should all be ready for when it happens.
Absolutely.
I think it already did.
Cleaning it up for her is going to be trouble.
Okay. So after a perhaps awkwardly uncomfortable rest of a breakfast, sans Sylvie, you're all able to finish eating and kind of go your separate ways to prepare for today's outing, I suppose. Once you reconvene back at Sylvie's shop, is the plan then to try to track down Ravido, or to try to track down gondoliers to kind of plant that seed?
I thought we were talking about Vito first, right? That's what we decided to do first, was Vito.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we have to choose between gondoliers and the marked wall thing that you were talking about as the other 2 things we can do.
We could take the gondolier to go see Vito.
We could do that. We could also
Sure.
split the party and send half the group one way and half the group the other.
No.
At the very least, I think we should try to take separate gondolas so that we are like spreading out our information seeking and like having multiple different faces asking the question,
And so
might
that
give us better
Guillaume
responses.
actually survives and isn't killed by Sylvie and dumped in the water.
I mean, that too, maybe.
Okay. So you kind of plant this this seed with at least 2 different gondoliers as you kind of make your way back to the academia. Guillaume, you would know that currently Ravito is living at the university in a set of dormitories, kind of like private dormitories. His uncle, who is a Visconde, I believe, is
Baron,
a Visconde.
Oh no,
Is it
sorry,
what?
You're right. You're right.
Oh, is it?
Never
a
mind.
Visconde?
I was looking at a different guy. Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. Well, regardless of what station he is, his uncle is that station of a different city. So he is kind of on, I don't know what that would be called, but basically kind of like a foreign exchange student. Basically just is, living in the city, but is staying at the university dormitories. So you head there, and because you're a student, you're not really given a second look as you enter, and you're able to make your way upstairs to where you know Ravito's room to be. I don't know that you've ever necessarily been inside Ravito's room, but you would at least probably know which door it is, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
you will
I
find
think
it
probably
locked.
not. I probably haven't been there.
Okay. You will find it, but you will find it locked.
Is there? Does it seem like there's anyone else in the hallway around, or?
Passing every once in a while, but there's large stretches of time where there wouldn't be anybody.
Chimeran, I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to assume, but how are you with locked doors? You seem like you maybe have had a life that maybe included getting into places that you weren't supposed to be. I don't mean to presume.
And yet you are. I have more luck getting out of rooms where I'm not supposed to be. But well, I could give a try at it. Probably no better at this than you. And I would try to open a door. I am
Okay.
proficient at least.
Do you have thieves' tools?
I believe I do.
Perfect.
Let me just check.
Okay, sure.
No, I didn't buy any. Oh, yes, I do. There they are in my backpack. Like these should
I was
Okay.
gonna slide mine over to you if you didn't have them.
Okay.
Teaching me tricks.
So you can make a sleight of hand, if you'd like. Oh, I guess it would be just a dexterity check, and then
Yes.
if you are in fact proficient with the tools, you can add your proficiency to it.
I am. So that'll be an 18.
Okay. This is a very nicely made lock, but whether Guillaume's slight gave you a little sting or not, it turns out that you are indeed knowledgeable enough to be able to pick this fine lock. And after just a moment, there's a...
I think actually Chimeran is a little bit shocked that he did such a thing, and would look to Locks very pleased, like, I did it on the first try.
Good lock picking, I gotta say. Very impressive.
Best teacher.
Who
And,
knew?
I think Chimeran doesn't react to that particular thing from Guillaume because he did presume, and turns out he was right, and that's not cool. So, but at this point, we will go into the door.
So you open the door into this kind of private dormitory, and it's very well appointed. It's nicer than some people's homes are. And it's very quiet in here. It's very still, kind of early in the morning. And the thing that really catches you off guard as you're kind of taking in the view of the room is that there is the smell of death in this room, and it is fairly strong. The door in the back of the room is slightly open.
Oof. Shit, you all smell that?
Yeah.
There are windows in the room. Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. At least one or
Okay.
two.
She's gonna press to digitation, open the windows, and get some air moving.
They kind of, flap open, and it starts to dissipate, but not fast enough, for sure.
Lox has this, he changed quickly, he has this like little scarf, and he'll kind of pull the scarf up over the lower half of his face and move into the room, sort of hand on his sword, and then move to that door that's open in the back.
You move to the door, and you're able to kind of push it open just a little. The door is, very well crafted and is hung properly, so it swings open with ease and no further noise. And you can see that this is like a bathing chamber. And the thing that dominates the space of the room is a copper bathtub. And there, in the copper bathtub of now fetid water, is the body of an elf, a young elven male, that you guess is likely Ravido Boyero.
I immediately step away from the door upon seeing that and kind of take a moment. And then I say, room's clear, but I think your friend's in here. Guillaume, you should come check.
Yeah, Guillaume has got his hands kind of in front of him, and he's just doing this little motions and these little puffs of prestidigitation, like lavender flower scent, just keep kind of puffing up around him, and he just keeps casting that as he's walking forward. And he'll peer in the door and then stop for a moment as he looks. Oh, Ravido. Such a brilliant mind gone so soon. It's him.
Indeed. From the very distinct kind of curly locks and the greenish colored eyes that it is in fact Ravido. And it looks as though he has been dead for some time, a few days at least. And there's also a piece of paper lying on the floor, not far from his hand.
Guillaume will walk in and reach down to start to get the paper, and he'll, as he's doing it, he's just talking the whole time. Just, it's so tragic. He could have been the next Emiliano Garibaldi. He was that talented. His most recent dissertation on the power of rune magic was honestly like, and he's kind of ignoring the personal tragedy of it and more focusing on the intellectual loss here, because he knows that this guy was really someone who could have been important in magical academic circles. But he'll pick up the paper and start bringing it back to the rest of the group.
Is it obvious how this young elf has died?
So anybody that wants to could roll medicine. Would probably be the best.
11.
It's kind of hard to tell. His skin has kind of a reddish coloration to it. Well, I guess now it would probably be more like kind of purplish. But everybody that would like to, please roll me an Arcana or an Investigation, your choice. And while you're rolling those up, Guillaume, it is as you were returning with this folded piece of paper that you actually realize that you recognize this paper. It came from your desk, and it bears the Del Estote crest upon it.
Guillaume will stop dead in his tracks at that, and he's staring at it and starts to kind of like breathe kind of rapidly, like not fully hyperventilating, but like giving like a little awkward half chuckle. No. That's not. And he's just gonna hold it out. This says what I think it says, right? It's not the fumes getting to me.
What do you think it says?
This is my. He's gonna look back at the body now, really like taking in the dead man fully, like really looking over every piece of him. Someone is someone trying to set me up for this? That doesn't make sense.
Did you kill him? Are you attempting to make us your alibi?
He's gonna glare at Vera at that. Listen, I may be a self-centered narcissist from time to time, but I'm not a fucking murderer. Pardon my Italian.
Guillaume, do you read the note?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it.
Okay. It is written in your handwriting. And it says, I know about the seamstress tramp. It is over between us, Ravido. For you, it is simply over. G. You notice on this piece of paper that the letters are positioned strangely about the piece of paper. And you realize that these formed a glyph on this piece of paper that has been activated. And that glyph was once a hold person spell. Looking about the room with your roll, you realize that there are cleverly hidden runes as a part of the decorative trim around the edge of the copper tub. The kind of runes that would trigger multiple heat metal spells. You notice the same kind of magical key and lock combination of these runes that you discovered with the darts and the dais. This whole person glyph that went off whenever someone read this note, when Ravido read this note, it triggered those heat metal runes to also activate. At that moment, Locks, you hear the dormitory building doors downstairs fling open, and you hear the footfalls and the calls of Justicaros in number entering the building. Search everywhere. Begin upstairs. That is where we're going to end our session.
Oh my god.
You
So-
fucker.
You son of a bitch.
I'm not saying Guillaume doesn't deserve it, but
Oh
do
my
I?
I love Guillaume so much.
Same.
He's so fun.
Hard same.
He's
This has been
five.
terrific.
How many of us are there? 5. Okay, awesome. Just for next time. For next time.
Just
Not
for
now,
notes.
next time.
Future knowledge. This has been incredible, guys. Thank you all very, very much for allowing me to abuse your characters physically and emotionally. I'm sure there will be other ways that we'll find out in the future. I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can say outros. Once again, touch on anything that they would like to touch on before we call it an evening. So we'll start in reverse order with Karen.
Damn, that's a cliffhanger. Woo-wee! I can't even say anything. I'm blah, blah, blah. It's this has been great. Oh my god. I love this game so much. Guillaume, you're such an ass. I love it. It's so awesome. Oh my god. I cannot wait to play this again. Next session. Oh, I love you guys.
Hard same. I am so eager to. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time for this campaign already, and the stuff that's going to happen next, I'm so excited. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for being such a great sport as always, Karen. Speaking of great sports, Austin.
This is so much fun. That was a perfect ending. That was awful and amazing, and I feel so thoroughly fucked, and I love it. I really hope that Guillaume learns to be a better person and has an arc so that he can make it up to Sylvie, because I personally feel awful for how terrible he is. But also, I think he's going to keep being terrible for a while. You can't have an arc if you don't start with some flaws. So I'm so excited to get to see where these characters end up if he survives his own party. So yeah, that's all. I got nothing to add beyond that.
It's perfect, man. I'm appreciative when people play a character who kind of goes against the grain a little, especially when they as a player aren't going against the grain. It's just their character. That can be a lot of fun. Inter-party conflict is always a really good source of conflict. Yeah, I'm here for it. So next we have M.
Yeah, I love it. I love chaos and conflict, and it's going to be fun, and I can't wait. And yeah, I really hope Guillaume gets that arc before Sylvie chokes him with some thread or something. But no, this is great. I love it, and I love the rest of the players. I think that I love this game. It's so much fun. So thanks.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Next we have Matt.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt, and I get stabbed a lot in this game. That's basically my lot in life so far. No, it was I can't remember if I mentioned this on stream or not, but we leveled up between the first half and the second half of the game, and I took the tough feat because I need more hit points. I need to be able to get hit more often. So thank you, Jeremy, for continuing to keep me on my toes in the best way possible. I love it. And I love investigation and like murder mystery stuff. Even though my character's not good at it, I'm just happy to like be there and be involved in it. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing to unravel these mysteries. So thank you again, Jeremy, for having me, and for everyone for watching. I can't wait till the next. I literally cannot wait. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Very appreciated, sir. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to drop that moment for a while. I'm glad that we got to it tonight. I'm glad that we were able to end it on that as a cliffhanger moment. So, yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, so next we last but certainly not least, we have Kenya.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Everybody else has already said it. Thank you so much. This is a highlight of one of the highlights of my month. It's so much fun, and I am enjoying seeing, as we're in our third session now, how much everybody's starting to come into the characters a little bit more, and the nitpicking is getting there, and I just think that the personalities are developing a lot, and it's very, very fun to watch. I can't wait to play again. I want to just put it out there. I knew he did it. I knew right away. I called it. So Vera knows that it's really him. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
There you heard it, folks. November 17th, 2021, Guillaume is the BBEG for the campaign. It's documented.
That would be the greatest twist you ever pulled. Like having a plant in your
PC.
game the whole time.
Yeah. Yep. Long
Also,
game.
real quick, just a very vague hint of things to come. I have an idea that I realized as soon as we wrapped of what Guillaume thinks is going on. And I'm very excited to delve further into that next time.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear it. Everybody, thank you so much. This has been a fantastic game so far. Every time that we've sat down to play, it's been surprising, and it's just a joy to watch people who understand kind of the direction I was trying to go with the setting, and who are willing to step up and further that idea. So it's amazing to have such fantastic players who really want to see the setting, want to get into the setting and create, as well as bring such fantastic characters who have a lot of tragedy coming their way. So you're all the best sports. I love you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you all so very much for those who tuned in this evening, whether you watched live along with us tonight or whether you may be watching at some point in the future. It is deeply appreciated. If you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Share it around with people. Talk to people about it. Give them the link to the channel. Yeah, I think that's about it. For those of you in the States, I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving next week, if you do celebrate. And I think that's about everything that I have. So until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.